We getting over this hump together. That's me, evangelist Angie BEE, Amazon International #1 best-selling author, mother, daughter, sister, friend to some, entrepreneur. Angie BEE is a mental health advocate, a motivational speaker, an ambassador for alopecia awareness, and media personality. Hello, everyone. I am the Queen Bee, Evangelist Angie BEE, and I'm honored to be here with you, a domestic violence survivor. She has endured physical and mental trauma and shares her testimonies around the world. Recently named by Contessa's Court, Women in Business 2023, we've been over some humps. And we getting over this hump together. Let's get it started. Hey, everybody. Hey, it's me, the Queen Bee, Angie BEE. I am so excited to be here. Oh, my goodness. It is another Wednesday. And, you know, we all could use some help getting over some humps. Some of us need more help than others. And so we are definitely excited about being here tonight and being able to talk about some of the humps or the challenges or the problems that we may be experiencing. And I'm really thrilled because I've got a special guest in the studio today, and I got to see her inspiration behind her book. It's so cool. You know, when a person writes a book, it's in my opinion that it could be one of two things. It could be something completely made up, you know, from a drug-induced something or alcohol-induced, or you know, it could be inspired by something that is outside of them. Other people write books because of their experiences. If you've gotten any of my books, you know I'm an open book. You know, like my friend Laretha used to say, if my daughters get dogs, I'm gonna write a book about them. That's true. Some people. Other people go a step further and they say, you know what? I don't see enough representation. I don't see what I need to be seeing, because it's got to be other people like me that need what I need, and I don't see it, so I'm gonna feel a need. So Juanita Banks-Whittington is our guest tonight. She's going to talk about what she found that was a gap for fathers and their children. Now, I know we have had several conversations about how children have to have their fathers and interact, but then fathers need their children too, and they need something to do with their children. So Juanita wrote an adorable book. And before I bring her in, don't tell her I did this now. I'm telling you, don't tell her I showed you all this. But before I bring her in, I just want you to see this little piece, this little clip, okay? It's just so cute.
I love my daddy. He gives me hugs and kisses when he wakes me up. He helps me make mommy's tea in the morning. He always reads a book to me before bedtime.
I Love My Daddy is a heartwarming children's book about the special bond between a little girl and her father. It follows a day in the life of a little girl and her daddy. Produced for audiobook by Angie BEE Productions.
Narrated by me, Ramona Young.
And narrated by me, the Queen Bee, Angie BEE. Isn't it so sweet? So we're going to bring in the author. She's going to tell us all about herself and her book and the inspiration behind the book. And then we've got questions for her. So, Juanita, welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, hello.
We're going to get over this hump together. I promise. I promise.
Right.
Okay, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about you. Like I see you got a lot of certificates behind you, and maybe you live in a cold climate, or so you tell us about you, please, dear.
All right. So I live in Maryland now. Grew up in a little bit of everywhere, New York, North Carolina, Florida, but I reside in Maryland now. And I was in the military for 11 years. I'm pretty sure some of my military family on here tonight. Hey, that's my cousin right there in Florida. Right now, I work for Department of Defense. I am doing diversity and inclusion, which I really love it. My master's is in social work. My undergrad is in business. And I'm just really excited about this different journey that I'm taking. Previously, I was doing private practice on the side, using social work. I've had rental properties in Baltimore City, trying to have affordable housing for people in need. But all of those things were more like chores to me. And I always wanted to write a children's book. And when I had my own daughter, Zuri, it just hit one day when my husband was like, man, I'm reading these books to her at night, and there's no fathers. There's no Black fathers. Nobody with melanin skin in these books that represent our children. And when he said that to me, a light bulb hit, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write a book. So I wrote this children's book called I Love My Daddy, and it's a day in the life with a little girl and her father. And it represents my current life. So it's the routine that my husband and daughter have with each other. And I'm really, really excited. I'm definitely nervous. I'm always nervous when it comes to public speaking. But I'm really, really excited for other children to see, hey, there's people, hey, Tosh, that's one of my other cousins down in Georgia. But it's just, I feel like we need it. You know, you don't see it a lot. I feel like this generation is different than our parents, you know, our aunties and all of them. We look at things differently, and I feel like it's time for change. And we need to have little girls and little boys to have their fathers, both parents, whether they may not be in the same household, but at least they're in each other's lives. So I wrote this book as a precursor to other books that I plan to have. And I started Diverse Children's Books Matter because of that.
Now, Diverse Children's Books Matter is a what? Okay, go ahead.
No, it's not a nonprofit. So I have an LLC called Neha Cares LLC. Neha Cares LLC is named after my grandmother. Her name was Juanita Banks, but we call her Neha. And she would help anybody that helped her. And I started Neha Cares doing my
wait, I don't mean to interrupt you. She would probably help anybody whether she had it or not.
Yes,
right?
She did. Yes, she did. She would give them anything she needed. They needed. And I started Neha Cares. I used that in my other business ventures. And then when I started the book, I was like, I want to kind of separate it. So I ended up doing a DBA under Diverse Children's Books Matter.
Good. Because nonprofits are great.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against them. But my mama used to say, give Caesar what Caesar's supposed to have so he can take care of our community. And so I don't mind paying some taxes. I don't mind.
So it's not a nonprofit. It's, it's still under my LLC for now until I decide what's best. But I would just love to, get with other authors that, are diverse, look like me, and just create more children's books for people who are doing, what they feel that their children may have missed or they didn't receive when they grew up.
Girl, you saw a need and
Yeah.
you filled it. And I applaud you for that. I first of all, I applaud your husband for even bringing it to you that, hey, I'm tired of reading books, about fish and squirrels to I want to be able to be represented. And so I applaud him for bringing that to you. I applaud you for finding an outstanding illustrator. Girl, that was just great. The pictures that you sent of him and her together. I think one of my favorite scenes was when he was putting on her sparkly boots.
Yeah.
Tell me, what has that journey been like, finding an illustrator?
So it has been a journey. I feel like I've been in like all these different Facebook groups and YouTube and Googling all of these things. And I found somebody. I went on to Fiverr.com.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chantel. I went on to Fiverr. I saw artists that they work was like, oh, this is what I want. And I paid a couple little dollars for it. And I received not what that person was portraying their work to be. So pretty much I was scammed. The first illustrator that I got. They were pretty much showing the work that they showed me is of the illustrator that I ended up going with. Of course, I was like, oh, well, I don't want to, spend as much money as the original artist had his stuff for. But then I was like, well, let me try to reach out to a few more illustrators. I think I reached out to 2 other illustrators, but their work just wasn't what I was looking for. So I'm talking to my husband and I'm like, what should I do? Should I spend this money? It's like, look, you get what you pay for. So I ended up spending the money and I don't regret it because the illustrations look like what I envisioned.
The illustrations make me feel like he took a family picture. And
he did.
Especially when, there's a part with the mom and it feels like she's fussing because he gave the child some candy. I'm like, that looks just like Juanita.
Yes, he has me in the book. And the little girl, she asked her daddy for some candy. And he gave it to her. And in the book, I was like, no. And he's like, hey, what do you mean? Why are you saying no? Oh, well, that's kind of what that illustration portrays.
I know it was probably devastating to go through that process.
Yeah.
And on this show, we talk about challenges and problems that we have in different areas because sometimes we feel like we're the only one that went through it. You're the only one that threw out some coins to an illustrator and didn't get what you wanted. You the only one. You the only one. I remember conversations that we've had about, formatting your book and getting it ready. And the journey to become an author is loaded with rocks and pitfalls. We have a hard enough time trying to write the words. Then somebody comes along and wants to edit and make changes, or some of us don't get it edited and realize later we should have.
Right.
And then you got to figure out, because becoming an author is becoming an entrepreneur. Where is the money going to come from to finance this? And then, when you sell a book, all that money can't go to the mall. Some of that got to go back into buying more books. So how long has this process been for you, from like January to now with the illustrator? And how much time you think you've invested?
I want to say I started back in like December, just trying to think about it. So like January-ish, I wrote it. And then I started trying to figure it out from there. because I had the knee-high cares, I had kind of was doing everything at the same time. So I was trying to get my website for knee-high cares, my bio, all of those things at the same time. So it was like I was, tapping away at everything. It was just really, really hard. I reached out to a lot of friends and family just to say, hey, can you look at this? What do you think? Just so I can have a second set of eyes. So I definitely did that. The editor that I had, I used her off of Fiverr as well, and she edited all of my stuff. And she was awesome. And she was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I know you so much better just by reading, why you started your businesses and what you're trying to do. And I reached out to her recently and said, hey, just wanted to let you know the book is coming out. And she was like, oh my gosh, thank you for sending me, just the cover. I love it. Let me know when it drops. I'm buying the copy. Even though she edited it for me. She was like, I love what you're doing and I want to support. Even now, when I go out and I talk to people and I say, hey, I wrote a children's book and I tell them about it. They're like, where is it? How can I buy it? Is it on Amazon? And I'm like, hold up. I'm getting there. I got to do all of this other stuff first. Yeah. But they're like, I want it for my niece. I want it for my nephew. I can't believe that you have people that look like real people. A lot
real lips, real eyes, real noses, real.
Right. The books that you see, they're, characters a lot of times, or it is a African American that doesn't even look like us. I'm like, where did you get that vision? Yeah. So it just felt so good for people to be able to say, hey, I can relate. I can definitely relate.
Yeah, I am so grateful. The story itself is just beautiful. I've had conversations with people that wonder why, some folks have baby dolls or toys that don't look like them. And especially with me, I'm an alopecian. I'm completely bald. And so we've always had conversations about how come there are no bald baby dolls, because there are bald children. How come we don't have any baby dolls with dreads or box braids or afros? And so if we've got those challenges, I know we've got challenges with books. I cannot think of one children's book that I was able to read or present to my children that looked like us. I mean, out of all the Disney books, there wasn't a Black princess until my kids were grown. Wow. So I applaud you. I congratulate your husband for encouraging you that you're going to get what you pay for. Because I just don't think these images would have been as striking if you had gone with the okie doke. So yeah, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. It means the world.
Oh, it really, really does. I've got some shout outs that are coming in, and we've got another promo video that we want to show you to give you another sneak peek of the book. But for right now, you've got someone named Starface Williams that's saying, go, cuzzo, go.
That's my cousin Trey. He's like a big brother to me.
Oh. And when you've got family support, this is one of the questions that has come in. When you've got family support as an author, does that mean that all those family members get a free copy of the book?
Of course not, right? But I do have, the audiobook. I'm definitely will be sharing that to certain individuals for free, because sometimes people just don't have it. Times are hard. So I will be sharing that with people. But the actual book, I will do a few giveaways, but everyone else, of course. Come on, y'all. Help me out.
Yeah. I tell you, it's, we authors spend so much money getting the book, like you said, edited, and I don't even want to ask you how much the illustrator costs, and he international funds. Oh Lord. So
Yeah.
once you've invested, you've got to get that money back. And Big Mama and them are good about saying, "Oh, baby, give me your book," and then it stays on the coffee table next to the Bible. They don't ever even read it. You ask them, it's next holiday, what you think about book? Oh, it's such a pretty little thing. So
Yeah,
I
you didn't
appreciate
read
you
it.
for sharing that. No, family members don't need to get it. But the audiobook, on the other hand, that's a different story. That's a different story. Like we talked about, you only pay for it once, and you can gift it to people without worrying about losing your investment. That is cool. That is cool. That's cool. So I wanted to ask you another question about your degrees. How much do you think your education and your experience in the military helped you with drafting this book?
I'll say not much. I feel like you don't need degrees to do what you love. Hey, Eric. I feel like when I first wrote the draft, I was like, man, I don't want to send this over to the editor because it's going to, I always, you always say to yourself, oh, I'm not good enough. So when I sent my stuff to the editor, she made a few changes, but overall she was like, this is perfect.
A good book.
And I'm like, really? So I don't feel like you need a bunch of degrees. Of course, someone may change your words around, but hey, nay, that's my sister right there. But I don't feel that you need those. And I just feel that if you want to do something, just do it. Don't listen to what anybody says. Just do it. Because what can it hurt?
And that was a question that came up. I don't think I know enough to be able to write. I don't know where the commas go and so I said, I'm gonna bring that up on the show tonight because I know a woman with a bunch of degrees and she in the military, so she can kick some butt too. So I'm gonna ask her what she. So
look,
if
I'm horrible with commas and all of that stuff, but that's what the editor is for.
And that's why your book has to be edited. Again, we're talking about problems and situations. I've talked to authors who say, oh, well, I let my brother look at it. He got a master's degree in this or a doctorate degree. And you still, even my good friend, Donna Gray Banks, she runs the largest book festival in the state of Florida. It takes place in February every year. So you got to come down for that. But she talks about how the book War and Peace has errors in it. So your book is not going to be 100%, but please don't let it be 30% because you didn't send it to a real editor, not just somebody with a bunch of degrees.
So what I will tell you is, I got the illustrator. The only thing that he did as far as writing was the cover. And then I sent it to a company to pretty much put the words to the pages. And I already got my stuff edited. They started taking my words out of the story. And I'm like, hey, put my words back in there. And they're like, well, you can't give somebody a hug and a kiss at the same time.
I can.
I said, please add my words back
in my story
and show that. Right. So even though I got my stuff edited, even at the next stage, I'm still dealing with, oh no, use this word instead, because everyone speaks differently as well. So that's the other thing you have to think about. We may speak differently than, some of our counterparts.
I've got a question that comes in here that says, how do you know what language your book should be in when you're looking at ethnic representation? So I tried to respond to be sure I got clarity, but I guess the question is, if the characters are Black, can you translate it to Spanish and French, and can you translate it to other languages without being offensive?
So I believe you can, but I'm not sure if that's what that person really meant.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the response. Yeah.
I think that they might have meant, us as Black people, we talk in slang a lot.
Okay.
And maybe they were referring to it in that way, but I'm not sure. But you have to be the editor. At the end of the day, of course, do your own research. Have multiple people, looking at it, people that you trust.
Right.
People that you trust.
Right. So somebody else just texted and said, do you consider yourself an entrepreneur now that you've written a book?
I've always been an entrepreneur. I feel that majority of the Black community, we are entrepreneurs because we're always trying to find the next best thing. Because we don't want to, as your aunties and your grandmothers say, work for the white man. I feel that we are all entrepreneurs in our own way.
We definitely have to be. And I, my whole thing lately, this past month or so, is the Bible talks about how you have to have 7 or 8 streams of income because you never know what the land is going to do. And the pandemic taught us to come home and work and hustle. And when you've got downtime from one source of income, you got to do something that's going to bring in another source of income. So yes, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with you that we've been hustling because we needed to. We're going to take a quick break. I know there's so many questions coming in, and I'm so proud of all of you for getting your questions. I got to shout out to my daughter Angeline, because if I don't, she'll be pouting. And so keep that in mind. You wrote a book for your small child, but when they get to be 30, 32, that's a whole different book. You just don't have to get ready for it. So we're going to play just a couple of quick videos so that you know more about what's going on, and we'll be right back.
I love my daddy. He gives me hugs and kisses when he wakes me up. He helps me make mommy's tea in the morning. He always reads a book to me before bedtime.
I Love My Daddy is a heartwarming children's book about the special bond between a little girl and her father. It follows a day in the life of a little girl and her daddy. Produced for audiobook by Angie BEE Productions.
Narrated by me, Ramona Young.
And narrated by me, the Queen Bee, Angie BEE.
Alan T. Black was raised and grew up in the United Methodist Church. I do feel that ultimately what is important is not the denomination that you are a part of. As is the case with each of us, I have experienced many twists and turns along the road of life. But each and every step along that road has led me to this point in life to humbly say that I am an author.
When it seemed like the world had stopped, as if our normal would never be again. Confinement Chronicles.
Still, there were those who held fast to hope. These are their stories. from teachers to dads to nurses on the front line. They have chronicled their messages of hope. Confinement Chronicles, now available. Order today on Amazon, also available in audiobook or at laderopress.com.
Confinement Chronicles.
Ma, 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 ma.
We parents need to understand that our children may know the pitfalls that we taught them, yet they will sometimes have to drag themselves out of their own pits in order to learn to reach up for God instead of reaching up for us, steering them in the direction of God Almighty. That is the best way to raise an adult child. Why hearing God's voice is essential to motherhood. Written by evangelist Angie BEE and published by Ladero Press.
Ma.
DJ Shaheem on the track.
I Love My Daddy. Written by Juanita Banks-Whittington. This book is dedicated to my daughter Zuri. It shows the love and joy she has for her dad. Whenever my husband read to our daughter, few stories showed a father's involvement in children of diverse backgrounds and lives. I Love My Daddy is for those fathers and children. I love my daddy. Oh my goodness. We've got a bunch of comments, and yes, we're going to be bringing our author back in, but I just wanted to give her an opportunity to see the love that you guys have for her. It can be intimidating enough to write a book and have somebody try to make changes to it and then stand up for yourself and say, no, we can't hug and kiss at the same time. So leave that in there. That can be intimidating for one. Then it can be challenging to say to someone, I want you to be the voice of my words in an audiobook. That's like when Big Mama and them try to tell you how to cook the turkey or change the baby's diaper. Come on, can I figure it out on my own? So that can be rough. But then to have to do media interviews like this one, to talk about things like Sandra Hammond says, you explained what your inspiration was, but what keeps you motivated in the hard times? That's a question we're going to ask our author when she gets back. And then the next question, how did you go from wanting to be a knee doctor to where you are now? That must have come from family. Only family know what we wanted to do when we first grow up. But Janice Carter Fortune said, love it, and I'm so proud of you. And Juanita, I want you to know that we are proud of you. I pray that this is not your last book, because that little precious baby that I saw in your lap before we got started, they're going to need a book for kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and more. So I'm going to bring you back in, Juanita, so you can start addressing some of these questions. And I hope that, kind of calms things down a little bit, because there's a lot more of this to come. We got to get you to book festivals. We got to get you to read on camera. I know you've got an entire flip book, so I guess that first question Sandra had about your inspiration, what keeps you motivated when times are hard?
I can't fail. I can't. I have too many people watching. My daughter, my nephews, little girls and boys that I may not even know that's looking. So I just feel that I can't fail, even though it may be hard and I'm, sad and depressed. I just can't fail.
And so then the next question is what is failure? How do we know that we've succeeded? So many times people want to be on the Amazon best-selling list or the New York Times best-selling list, or just want to be able to read their books at the senior center, at the schoolhouse. What does success with this book look like to you?
Doing something that I never thought I'd be able to do. That's success. I wrote the book. I did it. That's success.
And like Sister Singleton is saying, yes, this is passive income. This is one of your streams of income. So we're going to encourage everybody to to place their orders and to get it right. Another statement came in earlier. She says she's got 10 grandchildren.
Yeah. That's my cousin, Netse.
And
she's down there in Florida with you.
And she says she's crying now, and I can relate. I'm thinking about the ducks and the puppets and the fish that became people. These are the books that we had to the stories that we had to share with our children. And now we've got one about a little girl just spending a day with her daddy. Just being out there.
Oh yeah, I have so many more ideas for books, but I gotta get through this first.
Okay, so let's get back to the questions that are coming in by text, and I do appreciate them, and I hope I'm getting to all of them. How the question is, how do you promote this book? Only in the African American community? ?
No. You promote it everywhere. You promote it everywhere because when you think about it, some people look at it as, oh, my skin is dark, so that makes me a minority. There's so many other people out here that are different races that are minorities, So I look at it as it's for them too. For them too. So I don't look at it as it's just for Black. You have Asian, you have so much Spanish. I hope that for me doing this book, a little boy, a little girl say, oh my gosh, I never would have thought of that. And they can be another race and they're like, I'm going to create a book because I want it to show, the things that mean the most to me in my culture. So it's not, hey, Liv, so it's not just for just us, it's not.
Yeah, that's perfect, because no matter who else in other communities will find out about this book, they know somebody that looks like the people in that book.
Yeah.
And as long as they do, it may help break down some walls. It may help. It truly may help. So it says the support is strong. People are proud of you.
Yes, thank you, Tosh. I appreciate it.
And you did it within a couple of months. Oh,
yeah.
And Olivia Joy says we definitely need more representation at the elementary school level. So yes, please keep them.
You're gonna get me in your school, Liv?
Oh, goodness. And I've got a couple of people that I want to connect you with. Rakia Beverly here in Florida, everybody's favorite teacher. She has won some awards and been recognized for creating a fictional character from her books. And so I can see the two of you going in to do some things together. And then I always talk about Cornbread's daddy. Cornbread is another fictional character in Jacksonville, Florida. And the author is Vincent Taylor. And at the end of the show, we'll play his music video so everybody can get excited about that. But Natasha says something that's really, really powerful. Fathers
Mm.
aren't being represented in books. I have a holy hip hop, Christian, and gospel rap radio show that I do weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. And if I play 10 songs, 5 of them talk about how the artist was in the street, wasn't nobody there to tell him something different. Grandma was
Mm.
going to church, but where was my dad? My dad was in the jail. You're very right. Fathers are not being represented in books. And why was it important to you to have the father as the main character in the child? I mean, the mother is only on one page.
Well, I'm on 2 pages.
The back cover don't count. The front cover don't count. Why was that important to you?
So for me, growing up, I didn't meet my father till I was 19. So I feel like a lot of young women, we want that love from a father. And I feel like as long as they receive it when they're young, that they're not out here searching for it in people that they don't need to be.
Wow. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That is powerful. Another question that came in by text is, why not have a story? Okay, I'm trying to get it right. Why not have a story from the child's point of view? And so I just replied to the text to say, well, I think the story is from a child's point of view, but maybe I didn't get it right. So can you talk about why you wrote the story the way you did?
So I wrote the story the way I did because that is how things are portrayed in my household. So the things that you see, so my husband wakes Zeri up in the morning. He gets her together. He gives her breakfast. She helps make my tea. Those are all of the things that he does with her. And, she's 2.5. So sometimes she may not be able to say so many words. But I would tell you in the morning, she's like, I help make tea, mommy's tea. So I feel like it is from her view. Also, there's another scene where he's outside with our dog, Ivy. And my Zeri loves blowing bubbles. So like that's all she says. She's like, outside, bubbles, bubbles. So those are things and words that I've just always heard her say. I even have another scene where she's eating food off of her dad's plate because that's what she does.
Yeah.
And I always fuss with him. I'm like, don't let her eat off your plate. But that's their bond, and that's what they have. And I just wanted to show that, even the scene where he plays with my favorite toys. So Zeri loves music. So there's a piano. She has a little kitchen in the scene because those are all things he does, right? So everything within the book is my day, my daily life at home. So for me, it is through her lens because that's what she does. That's what she asks for. So it is through her lens.
Praise God. Praise God. Now, I know we winding down on time, and I know there are more questions coming in, and I promise if we run out of time, I will get the questions to the author so that she can address them. But there were some things that you really wanted to talk to me about. I asked you to send me some questions, but the Holy Spirit said, no, let's just have a conversation. And I don't want to miss out on giving that information. So talk to me about some of those questions. What did you want me to ask you, and why was it important for me to ask you?
I feel like most of them I've already answered, right? But I just wanted people to have an idea of why I did this. What does diverse children's books matter mean? Why? Who is Knee High Cares? Why did I do all of the things that I'm doing?
Yeah.
So I feel like we did answer all of them, actually, the struggles that I've had as far as, just the whole illustrator part, the publisher company, changing my words,
Mm,
so all of those things you've already touched on.
mm, mm, mm. I want to say that Angeline said she wants to buy 2 books because she wants to share one. And she is I'm going to talk about you, Angela, and she is a representation of adults now that they've got nieces and nephews and godchildren, and they want to be able to present them with something.
Yes. Yes, I
So,
get that all the time. Like
mhm,
anyone that I show the book cover to,
mhm,
anyone that I say I wrote a children's book
mhm,
about a little girl and her father. They
mhm,
like, where is it? Where can I buy it? I'm like, wait, please hold up. It's coming. It's
yeah,
coming.
yeah,
But it feels so good because I would have never thought, hey, Miss Cheryl, would have never thought that I would have had that much, that many people interested.
because you saw a need and you fill the gap.
Yeah.
You fill the gap. So, do you have any, I usually in this time slot I say, we don't offer advice. We tell you pray over the situation. But do you have any advice for somebody that may say, well, dang, Juanita did it. I can write a story too. I can do that, because that's what's going to help us, shrink that gap. So do you have any words of advice for people that want to write a children's book?
Just write. Don't think about it. Just write. And then after you finish writing, then look at it. Get you an editor and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Just write. Do whatever you feel you want to do, because the only person that's holding you back is you. That's how I look at it. So for me, if me just talking, I've had so many conversations with people I don't know, right? And they ask me questions and I'm like, hey, this is what I'm doing. And they like, I want to do that. And I'm like, do it. And just those conversations have motivated so many people. And some of them are on here tonight supporting me. They may not have known me at all, but just had a conversation with me. And they are definitely pushing towards whatever goals that they have. I feel like it's 2023. It's time to step out of the fear that you may have and just do it. If it doesn't sell, if it doesn't work out or whatever, at least you can say, I wrote a book, I did this, I did that. And you can never say those shoulda, coulda, wouldas, because you tried it and you did it, even if it didn't work. So that's how I look at it. And I feel that whether it's a book or, any other type of business venture that you're looking to do it. And make sure you have people behind you that really support you. Because there's people out here that'll be in your corner, and then in the back, they like, yeah, she ain't gonna do that. But make sure you have good people behind you. Like I said, I had an editor. I even had my close friends. I think my girl Chantel is on here. My aunt Jeannie is on here. My sister Shanae, my aunt Elaine. I had everybody, all of those individuals. I'm about to write this. Let me know what you think.
Good.
Hey, Dr. B.
Hey, honey.
So
and I appreciate everything you said. And you said, even if it doesn't work, we have to recognize that the seeds that we plant today may not grow for us to eat them tomorrow.
Amen.
So you're planting a seed that may come up in your grandchild's generation, or it will never not work. Somewhere, somebody is going to be able to say, oh yeah, they had ebooks back then. Let me scroll and see what I can find. What is this I'm listening to? Oh, that's the audiobook. Anybody still got print copies of that? Think about all the 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 people, Mozart and Bach, all them folks that made grand, musical presentations, and we're still walking down the aisle to them, and we're still
Yeah.
doing things. And so that is what I feel that your book will be, something that will never, like the word of God, it never grows old. I love my daddy. It will always, always, always be there. Always be there. Okay, so somebody wants to know how to prepay for my book. So I want you to think about that. We're gonna go back and check out a couple more videos right quick, and then we will we'll be back to close up everybody. I know you got a lot of questions and things, but we're gonna get to them. I promise. I promise. I love my daddy. Written by Juanita Banks-Whittington. This book is dedicated to my daughter Zuri. It shows the love and joy she has for her dad. Whenever my husband read to our daughter, few stories showed a father's involvement in children of diverse backgrounds and lives. I love my daddy is for those fathers and children. Author of the Day, Takia Smith, visionary of the best-selling book, Pendulum of a Mother's Love, announces her new release coming soon. Moms Gathering to Close the Gaps. This will be the second book in the series, and we invite you to share your story with the world. The topics of mother-daughter, daughter-mother, and mother-son relationship are contributed by the following authors: Dr. Kitty Adderley, Dr. Radiance L. Rose, Dr. Maisha Jack, Angela Wife, and Evangelist Angie BEE. It's not too late to share your story. Promotional support for this book is provided by Business with a Heart and Lolo's social media promotions. Audiobook produced by Angie BEE and Barty Productions. Moms Gathering to Close the Gaps. Coming soon. Save the date, September 14th through 17th, 2023, for the 7th Annual Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Weekend Retreat for Alopecia Awareness. Our travel partner this year is Stephanie Fowler. Call her for your arrangements at 470-331-1788. The 7th Annual Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Weekend Retreat for Alopecia Awareness. Our theme this year is completion, keeping our faith over the struggle. Log on to boldbeautifulandbald.com for more information. Bold, beautiful, and bald. Okay, Juanita. I need you to set the date to be here in Daytona in September. Tell you what I'm gonna do. Dr. Vanessa Blackwell came and joined us a couple of years ago at our Beauty Bazaar weekend retreat, and we have a very special author circle during the poolside interaction is what I want to say. And it's a time where all the authors can get together and say, "Hi, I'm Juanita, and this is my book." And so we want you to be a part of that. So I'm gonna bring you in now. So that's your invitation. Ask Dr. Vanessa. She was here. She brought her granddaughter. And between her, the 9-year-old granddaughter, and my 9-year-old niece, oh, they had a ball in the swimming pool. But we could have sent them home with your book. So that's what I mean when I say it's just going to be around. It's just going to be beautiful, and people are going to love it. People are absolutely going to love it. Okay, so somebody wants to know how they can purchase do a pre-order of the book, and somebody said they send it. Come on down to Florida in September. It's a great weekend. Don't feel bad, if you got hair. We don't discriminate, but it's gonna be a bunch of bald people there. But we all need to read, and we all got children that look like so. Okay. So how can somebody pre-order the book?
I've been getting that for the last few months.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, yeah. Well, now that the audiobook is ready, we can do a couple things. We can do a book launch campaign. We can help you with that.
Yes.
So
yes.
when you
And
see a date,
I
I'm
will be
writing it
reaching
down.
out to you for that. So I do have an audiobook. I will have a ebook. I have a softback book and a hardback book. So the plan is to do pre-sales starting May the 1st.
May 1st. Oh, that's good.
And then I plan to have everything launch on May the 15th. I wanted May the 27th for my grandmother's birthday, but I have a book signing scheduled in Randallstown, Maryland on June the 10th, and I didn't want to chance it. So the books will be launched on May the 15th, and I will have a book signing June the 10th. In Randallstown, I will be uploading an e-write soon as I create one. I'm still waiting for my sister Shanae to finish assisting me with that.
Okay.
But
can I throw in a little snippet?
Yes.
You said May 27th was Grandma's birthday. Let's work to make the book number 1
Okay,
on the 27th.
that would be good.
Yeah, we'll all get together. We'll do something special on that day, and all y'all watching get 24 other people to purchase. And May 27th, that'll be good. That'll be good. Congratulations, my dear.
Thank you.
I can't say enough how much I love the project, and I'm honored to be a part of it. And just let me know when you're ready to do some more.
I will. And I really, really love working with the little girl who read the book. And, I tell people, I'm like, oh, I have an audio book, and it's a little girl, and she's reading it. And I swear she just did an excellent job. And I need her contact so I can go see her in person since she's here in Baltimore. So,
I promise I will. I'll be sending this video to her mom. Now that everything's approved, she'll be getting a copy of the audiobook for, and to share. And we did a book signing with Dr. Vanessa Blackwell in Waldorf a few years ago. And was it still during the pandemic? I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was still during the pandemic. But she came out with her mom and her little sister and her dad. And that was beautiful. All of them came out, and I introduced her, and she got her little certificate for being a part of our Beehive crew, because we train young people to be voice actors. Our youngest voice actor, who just turned 11. Oh my goodness. She started when she was like 5, maybe 6. And now she's gone on to do commercials in Michigan. And I mean, you got that raw talent right there. So you gotta, groom them. And it helps them to learn about the passive income and the multiple ways of expressing yourself. Because we have talked to some young people that, they're going through something and they just don't know how to express themselves. So I think you may have seen on the screen earlier, we have a YEP program, Youth Entrepreneur Author Program. And during the pandemic, we allowed elementary school students from a school to write about the pandemic. And that book, one of them lost their grandmama. The other one lost their favorite basketball player. The other one can't figure out how to look at the screen, for school. It was one of those things. And so we continue to work with youth. We're going to have an 8-week summer program I'm putting you on spot now. I need you to come on and make an appearance. It's going to be a virtual writing course.
That's fine.
And I want you to read to the children, and give them some inspiration. And we're going to continue to make youth narrators, voice actors, and authors. Thanks to you.
Awesome. My cousin right here, Tashonda, I was in Florida over the weekend, and I told her, I was like, just write. She used to do poetry and raps back in the day when we were younger growing up. And I'm like, just write it and then go from there.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Just do what you got to do.
That'll be good. Okay, everybody, I need you to like this show and share it. And as soon as we get all the dates for the pre-sales and everything, we'll just post them in the comments. And that way there'll be some consistency with it. Sound okay?
Yes, that works.
All right, sweetie. And everybody, if I did not get to your questions, I'm so sorry. Please charge it to my head and not my heart. I didn't mean it, but we got to have you come back soon. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I want to thank all my friends, my family, and even people that I just met tonight for supporting me on this journey. You can do whatever you want to do, because you never know who's watching you when they look up to you.
Amen. All right, sweetie. Have a good night and kiss that baby for me.
I will.
Talk to you later. Be blessed.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh man, it's been 27 years and I can't believe it. I'm still in love with this thing called teaching and learning. I mean, I never knew what type of impact that I would have on children's lives, but for that, I just want to say, thank God, I'm a teacher. I am a teacher. All I ever wanted to become a teacher. Guess what made a difference in my life? A teacher. If you're proud to be one, let me hear you say, I'm a teacher. I am a teacher. All I ever wanted to become a teacher. Guess what made a difference in my life? A teacher. If you're proud to be one, let me hear you say, I'm a teacher. Step into the room at last. Every student that I teach gon' pass. Yeah, we had a 1 to 23 ratio, but it doesn't matter. I'm committed. You could do the tricky math. How we gonna do that? Enthusiasm. You what a teacher gotta have. Enthusiasm. I ain't even trying to hear anything about who at risk or a bottom quartile list. Coming out the gate swinging, fighting for my students and I'm believing. Ain't no meaning, money, no rock, paper, scissors, or a glow. The real ones engage at the door. hit it with an anticipatory hook. Always intentional, so you know they had to look. I'm committed 180 days, and all my teacher friends, man, they feel the same way. I am a teacher. All I ever wanted to become. A teacher. Guess what made a difference in my life? A teacher. If you're proud to be one, let me hear you say, I'm a teacher. I am a teacher. All I ever wanted to become. A teacher. Guess what made a difference in my life? A teacher. If you're proud to be one, let me hear you say, I'm a teacher. You can do lesson plans all weekend. Teach a lesson, hope the lesson is speaking. To the youth, making sure that it's children proof. I got the formula. What is it? You wanna get it? Pursue. How you gonna do that? Enthusiasm. You what a teacher gotta have. Enthusiasm. I ain't even trying to hear anything about who at risk or a bottom quartile list. Gotta engage at the beginning. They gon' emulate your energy, so watch what you're sending. It could be the end before you get started. Miss whatever you do, don't put the standards before the heart. A gradual release will fall apart. Understand it by design. Backwards planted, that's a vibe, y'all. That's a vibe, y'all. If you know it, then you know it, that's a vibe, y'all. That's why I am a teacher. All I ever wanted to become. A teacher. Guess what made a difference in my life? A teacher. If you're proud to be one, let me hear you say, I'm a teacher. I am a teacher. All I ever wanted to become. A teacher. Guess what made a difference in my life? A teacher. If you're proud to be one, let me hear you say, where you at? California, New Jersey, Ohio, I'm a teacher. Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Florida, I'm a teacher. Virginia, Illinois, and Georgia, I'm a teacher. Louisiana and Maryland, Texas, New York, I'm a teacher. That's why I am a teacher. All I ever wanted to become. A teacher. Guess what made a difference in my life? A teacher. If you're proud to be one, let me hear you say, I'm a teacher. I am a teacher. All I ever wanted to become. A teacher. Guess what made a difference in my life? A teacher. If you're proud to be one, let me hear you say, I'm a teacher. I am a teacher. All I ever wanted to become. A teacher. Guess what made a difference in my life? A teacher. If you're proud to be one, let me hear you say, I'm a teacher. I am a teacher. All I ever wanted to become. A teacher. Guess what made a difference in my life? A teacher. If you're proud to be one, let me hear you say, I'm a teacher.